So we have a shifting world order, and the world has really immeasurably changed in the last few years. The coronavirus pandemic, climate change, and now the fragility of peace. At the same time, we are seeing India actively working on foreign relations and diplomacy, in fact, more than it ever has before. Let's welcome now here with us live at India Global Forum, Bengaluru, the Honourable Minister for External Affairs and Culture for the Indian government, Meenakshi Lekhi. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Honourable Minister, thank you very much for coming. I want to jump straight into something that's on many people's minds, which is Ukraine. And I was so sorry to hear about the death of an Indian student who's in fact from the state of Karnataka, where we are now, killed in the shelling. I want you to tell me about Operation Ganga, first of all, getting the Indian students out of Ukraine.
So we are all very sorry for what happened to one of our own students, and I believe Minister Ms. Shobha Karanje visited the family yesterday to pay a visit to the family, and a young kid who wanted to be a doctor and start a clinic in his own village. That was the dream. So something which we as country obviously mourn. But Operation Ganga is something which I think in today's time and age, one of the largest operation which Government of India has taken over. We have, I mean, there are about close to 20,000 plus Indian nationals stuck in Ukraine. And above 10,000 people is who we have extracted out of the place, and we've brought them to Delhi. Or Bombay for that matter, to other parts of the country. The operation is still on, and many people have been evacuated and brought to 4 western neighbors of Ukraine, Poland, Romania, Moldova, and Hungary. These are a couple of countries where, or Slovakia also, Slovenia, where we are getting our people. And from there we are running various flights and measures to bring them back. 10, 12, 13, 15, that number of flights is what we are full of people, what we are bringing them back is the ratio, which is unlike anybody else, but then it's not to be compared with anybody else. It's, we feel our responsibility to reach out to our people who are stranded in need of the government support, and all our friends are helping us in evacuating our people. And that's what India is doing, and that's what I believe diplomacy stands for, that you get other people to understand your point of view and get them to assist you in what you wish to achieve. So what we wish to achieve is obviously extract our people from this place and from God's harm's place, and just get them out so that people in India are satisfied. So whether it was COVID or post-COVID or Afghanistan, we've been in the war zone all through, and pretty large numbers, and we've successfully executed some of the projects, and we are still working at this one.
You mentioned there that diplomacy is about getting other people to understand your point of view. It never used to be conducted on social media, diplomacy. Sure. So I wonder, especially in the light of the Russia-Ukraine war, how have you found this tool helps or provides more challenges as you respond to different global events?
Both are equally correct. So diplomacy in old times used to be something which you do behind the doors and in closed door arrangements. Today diplomacy is done amongst the people, in public, with the people. So we've used the forum to our advantage, because if government needs to issue advisories, we immediately put it out on the social media to reach it out to all the people who are stranded, to show them the way that this is what you need to do. People can reach out to us by various methodologies. I mean, I have not been responding, but taking action. So if somebody's tweeted to me that ma'am, we are here, we are there, my son is there, my daughter's there, please help, please reach out. So we do get those details and we do put it in our system and speak to the people working here, wherever they are. If numbers are given, we reach out to them. But there's always a danger of fake news as well, because you don't know, they are coming from unverified accounts. A lot of time it's false propaganda. A lot of time you're working not on the real people but on unreal people's issues. Sometimes the person's already been extracted out, but somebody's made that older thing viral. So all kinds of challenges, but that's why I said both things. It's a tool. It's a tool for good people, it's a tool for bad people, so it's a tool. No problem with the tool.
You've been a politician since 2014, and the theme of the panel is the changing face of global diplomacy. It's the third fastest growing economy. India is taking a larger place in the world. So how can India use its role on the global stage to positively influence events?
So I think the positivity of the whole thing is that we are basically very scientific people. Today it's been labeled as cultural heritage, but algorithms to trigonometry to geometry to the value of pi to the distance between Earth and the Moon and the Sun, all this has been done by this country. So that is the kind of heritage we possess, which obviously in yesteryears was science and technology, and all the massive buildings in terms of temples, etc., 1,000, 5,000 years old. The oldest man-made dock is in India. Very few people know that. And so that is the cultural aspect. But cultural aspect is not bereft of science and technology. So what people may call mythology, it may sound history to some, but I don't want to venture that path. All I'm saying is the science and technology itself has history. Mathematics itself has a history, and that history starts with India. And in a city of science and technology, I think it's time to celebrate the science and technology which India of yesteryear possessed and is showcasing in the modern times through digitization and digitalization of processes. And no wonder Indians have done fairly well. I remember I was at Princeton in some context, and I was having a conversation with some of the professors of law and others, and they were asking me about Aadhaar. And they said, how many cards have you made? So I said, we are a nation of 130 million, and more than 100 million we've done it. They said, what? I said, yeah, we have that platform, we've done it, and all our direct benefit transfers to the schemes of the government are reaching out to the people on their doorstep, and we are able to identify the beneficiaries. We are able to identify the disadvantaged section and are helping them out directly so that the resources don't get misused in the process of execution. They said only India can do it because nobody will have that kind of bandwidth to deal with these numbers. So from UPI to Aadhaar to Jan Dhan accounts, I think past 7 years personally for me, not because I'm part of the government, but seriously as an Indian, has made the change which I think I as a young person always wanted my country to see. And being part of that process itself is very, very empowering, and credit I must give to our Prime Minister for leading from the front and being very open when it comes to science and technology, to listening to new ideas, to implementing them, and I think that's what we all stand for. A lot of positivity. And that positivity is something which is infectious, and that infection should reach out to many people, unlike the other infection which reached out.
So it's International Women's Day tomorrow. This month, the entire month, is Women's History Month. As an MP, as a Supreme Court lawyer, you have stood up for the rights of women and girls in India. So what are you most focused on now with that regard?
So let me be honest and upright. Since you're a global forum and you are a global forum which is dealing with economics also, I must tell you that I started off as a tax lawyer and a criminal lawyer. So all the tax evasion matters where people could go to jail. But the women affair, I laughingly say any woman with head over her shoulder is a feminist, and most of us want our way in life or get our way in life or try to have our way in life, end up becoming feminists somewhere in some corner. So when my children were coming along, I was expecting or they were young, very young, so I had a little time off. And then I started writing on these subjects. And my passion became my profession. There was a sudden change, which I never realized. More light got thrown on these subjects than the real work which I did otherwise. And that's how I kind of gained a little prominence because of these issues. But enjoyed every bit of it, continue to enjoy. But I also feel that there's a drawback in our systems across the globe, not just in India. And that is we start typecasting people. And that is also some kind of bias. And this year's theme is battling or fighting the bias. So the bias is that only women can stand for women's rights. That's a bias. I think we got where we got because there were men standing with us. I mean, I got where I got because in initial years it was my father, later it was my brother, when I got married it was my husband, now my children who are both boys. So I think a lot of men play a big role in the lives of women, and no woman can achieve what she wishes to unless men stand with her. And similarly, no men can do what they achieve unless women at the back end are supporting them. So for every person, whoever is an achiever, the other genders also played a big role in supporting that gender, and that's what fighting the bias is all about. That women need not stand alone when they are dealing with gender issues. Men have to co-opt and cooperate. And when we talk of economics, finance, defense, women can take a lead and men can be in supportive role as well.
Absolutely. So we're going to be joined in a few minutes by some other folks to talk about the changing face of global diplomacy. And we do see women lead sometimes differently to men. So I wonder, as you travel around, what do you see of this difference in women leadership?
So difference in women leadership can be, we can be more chatty. We can talk about things which may be very undiplomatic.
Like what?
We can talk about dresses, we can talk about bags, we can talk about children, shoes, children, fashion, colors, drapes. We can talk about multiple things, which is very hard to talk to men. And we don't have to be uptight all the time. We can be a bit easy and converse in a more easy manner. So there is a different format because gender has its own plus points. So being a woman helps many a times because I think diplomacy, I was speaking to some people earlier in the day, and I was making a point that diplomacy is also about relationships. And closer relationships you build in life, or you nurture in life, or you strengthen in life. And it doesn't have to be totally focused on give and take. It doesn't have to be totally focused on money. it's about building a relationship. It's emotional investment into relationship. So whether you meet a person for 20 years, 30 years, it doesn't matter. When you meet a person and you're totally clued on. And when people look at you, they have that faith and trust that, okay, he or she stands for the relationship. You are able to crack many things. I wouldn't call it a deal, but you're able to make a difference where a difference needs to be made. And I think men, with all their hard work and their capacity, end up messing up sometimes because they are at times not so good in keeping relations.
Well, let's leave it there.
They may not agree with me.
Well,
but I genuinely feel on the emotional front, the EQ level of women is a little more superior.
Nice. All right, we're going to quote you on that. Well, stay with us because we're going to continue diving into how global diplomacy is changing in the next panel. So stay with us. We'll be right back.